Steve, the first question I have to ask is what everybody asks me. How'd you get on? First of all, I just want to explain to the public, new subscribers, about Steve was one of the ones that was singled out by the government. Well, basically they tried to wreck you, didn't they?
Yeah, tried to shut us down.
This is when COVID was on.
Yeah, some interesting times, but we're here. We were started. My father, grandfather started the business to support the community, and that's what we're here to do. So we just stayed open, and they were trying to shut us down and bankrupt us and all the rest of it, and so we managed to stay open the whole time. They couldn't actually shut us down. They come around, trying to stand over us with cops and everything, but no, we were lucky enough to stay open right through, and came out the other side with about 70 grand worth of fines, something around there. But they've taken us to court, and they've, hit us with appearance after appearance and bled us out financially, and then they've come to the conclusion that they're not going to proceed with the charges, so they've dropped charges. So it's a bit of a frustrating. It's a blessing at the same time, because I haven't got any money to throw at it anymore. They've done a good job of cleaning us out financially, but at the same time, I wasn't able to get a day in court. I was really excited to get my 70 grand worth of airtime in the on the stands, but it's not to be. But we'll move on and just put it in our rear vision mirror and get on with it.
Is there something you can do to recoup your?
No. Not. We could spend another 50 grand and chase it and potentially win some, 30 grand worth of reparations and legal fees. But it's just they tried to bankrupt us. We just about destroyed us. Our marriage. Our kids have grown up under a very stressful environment. It's been pretty brutal, but we're just happy with the result. Mixed emotions, but we'll just tidy it up and move on. I think that's the only thing we can do with it, really. Yeah.
Well, you showed a lot of bravery there, and you had the community behind you.
I think most people, not most people, there was some pretty ugly people that were really hating on us at the start, and trolls. And I think half of these, though, I was listening to Rogan the other day, and he's saying up to 80% of these trolls are bots, and we were noticing it. A lot of these comments would get 70 comments in about 2 minutes, and you'd look at their profile, and there's it's real dodgy profiles. So I think he's right. There's a high percentage of bots out there which sways opinion, sways the public's opinion on things. It's pretty serious the way it's going, and the social media has a massive effect on people's opinions on everything, on the war, on the Ukraine, on the Israel thing, the whole movie, mate. So it's concerning, but we're just over it, mate.
Can I ask you one more question about it? Is that, did you have people come up and say, I was wrong and you were right, and I wish I had have known better?
A couple of people, but not many. Yeah, a couple of people said, we were on the same movie as everybody else, closed the gym down, and we've found out that it's it was bullshit.
Yeah.
But that's very, very few people have. I'd say two, and I can't remember the two. I know of one, and it's a brave man that can own up to saying, I got it wrong.
Yeah.
But I know that I know a lot of people think that, but I don't think a lot of people actually own up to it. But it was a crazy time in our history, and it wasn't just the country; it was the world, wasn't it? It was a global thing. So we're just happy that it's moved on past that, and we're ready to just continue on with the gym and keep everyone upbeat and get them offshore and competing and staying positive.
Yeah, well, you certainly have moved on as far as your competitions are concerned, because huge numbers.
Yeah, it was a quiet time. Even last year, we've been going, through COVID, we didn't even know if we had a business because we weren't going to open up and expect kids to take a needle to do the sport they love. So we just closed down through COVID, and weren't quite sure whether we had a future, but we were lucky enough to keep going after, and it took a good 2.5 years for the momentum to, for people to start trusting and coming back and competing and getting excited about, their sport again. And we've just thrown the first Oceanias since 2020, just before lockdown. And we had, I think it's 12 or 1,300 fighters over 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. Gi on the first day, no gi on the second day, and 1,300 fighters over the 2 days. So it was a great success, and just a real exciting time to see people back competing and excited about, their sport again.
Is it back better than before, or same level?
I'd say we're on a par.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say we're on a par. So we're coming out, and we're planning for the future, and there's a lot of exciting things happening. We've managed to get the ADCC franchise here. We're able to throw a couple of events a year, which is an international thing. I mean, we've got to get these within 48 hours. We're supposed to populate a PDF and get all these results offshore. So it's a internationally recognised tournament held here in New Zealand. And we've been promised that if we get the support, we can get the trials down here. So I think it's something that we should support as a country. It's
what would that mean?
Well, I mean, you get the trials down here, then you got basically Oceania coming into New Zealand to compete for tickets. So if you win your division, you get a ticket to ADCC. So the trials is a big deal. They're holding the trials mostly in Asia at the moment, but Singapore, I think. But then if we can, I think Australia's had one, but he's very excited to get one down here. But we just got to show the support, So there's a lot of tournaments, happening in the country, and it does thin out the support, But we just got to prioritise competitions that are actually, beneficial and opening doors, and ADCC is one of those.
Trial and reward.
Yeah. I mean, if it's internationally recognised, then you've got eyes on. Now, like with Shuriken, you got UFC Fight Pass. It's the same thing. It's internationally. You got eyes on you. Around the globe, you got eyes on you competing. So it's it's going to open doors. It's opportunities. And people have got to prioritise these type of opportunities to a regular show that no one even knows that exists, or to a show that's that's really helps with the opportunities. Yeah.
Talking about the fight scene in general, and how's your fighters going from out of here?
I mean, it is. It's it's been hard to keep the boys' interest going, through these last couple of years, because not many international events and stuff. But we've got about 25 fighters going to Jiu-Jitsu Worlds in Japan in September. So that's exciting. That's the first international that we're taking a full team to since COVID. So it's everyone's excited about that. We've got the boys. We've got Prashant and Zach turning pro in that last event. Prashant had a bit of a tough night. He didn't really get going. He just sometimes if you just sometimes you're just relying on MMA fights. It's quite a long time between drinks. And the rust is a factor, So that's the key with a lot of our boys. I put them into jiu-jitsu tournaments, and they kickbox, they do everything, so they're just very active, But Prashant hasn't had much happening for a little bit of time. He hasn't had a fight for probably over 6 months. So he felt good going into that, but just he just couldn't get his distance up against an experienced fighter and pay the price. But in the second round, he put him down. I was happy with his second round, but he'd been rattled probably 3 or 4 times in that fight, and with once you get a bit of a shake up, the old adrenaline dumps, and your power goes out the door. And he's a tough kid, man. He lasted, till the end, till halfway through the third round, but he got put away in the third round. But I think there's a few things we can change with Prashant. He's a little bit light. He does a really easy cut, so put a bit of muscle on him, and there's a few things we're going to look at. So it's just a learning curve for him. But Zach, he just goes from strength to strength. He won his fight, and that was at a 75. He agreed to come in at a catch weight at 75, so it was a hard cut for him, but it was harder than I was expecting because he's just young. He put on a bit of muscle since the last time we cut down to 77. I mean, usually he's walking around at 80, so 77 is very easy, and I thought 75 wouldn't have been too tough, but he has put on 2 or 3 kilos of muscle, which made it quite a hard cut, but he's through that, and ready for the next one. We're just going to, see what opportunities open for him, and once again, we'll just keep him active with the jiu-jitsu and try and get him a kickboxing fight, and keep him in.
Talking about mixed martial arts and staying in that world, we had Hex here last weekend. How happy are you to see that?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think Jason's been doing a great job building it up with now we've got Fight Pass. So that's huge. I don't know whether Hex is on Fight Pass, is it? Is it on Fight Pass?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. So, I mean, the Fight Pass is massive.
Yeah.
So, Jason's been doing a great job, and we've been with Jason since the beginning. Hex is a new, bit of an unknown, but seems to have done a great job. I wasn't there last weekend, but it looked the part, So, the more if they can actually come into the country and open doors, or they're just another tournament, I don't know. If they're opening doors and they're opening, and they're setting up opportunities, it's great. But if they're just another show, I mean, we've got heaps of shows, So it's whether they're going to benefit the country, to be honest.
Looking at the UFC and the fighters that are coming out of New Zealand and Australia, more than hold their own, with the number that get on and to the number that are in the top 15. People have got to be looking down in this way.
I think we've got a great level. It's a tribute to everybody. We got an early start with James Tahuna, and I was in Sydney when Mark started, and we've gone through the learning curve with those guys evolving. And the sport was evolving. We didn't know what the real mix was, but then it's evolved to a point. Now you've got Izzy and those boys coming through, and they've got the recipe down pat. And Mark started with absolutely zero takedown defence, and we worked with him over 12 years, but he in the end had the best takedown defence in the UFC. So I think we've had to evolve quite quickly, and all the teams putting their hand up and stepping up at a world level just makes other teams have to do the same. So I think New Zealand has got a key group of people and really raising the levels. And everyone that I come and have that comes in from overseas goes to one of our amateur shows and says, "Man, that's amazing. The levels across the board is very, very high." So no, I think we've got a great level of competition in the country, and I think it sets them up. Sets them up for being launched offshore, and that's where we're with our guys. And the key is to do the work as an amateur. Really try and clean up your backyard. Get I think at least 10, 12 fights, and then move into the pro ranks. I mean, you're starting to really have problems after 10 or 12 wins to get a match as an amateur. So it forces you into the pro ranks. But I think I've been with a few people just saying if we can get 5 wins at a pro, that all the doors start opening. So that's what we're looking to do with the boys, is get them 4 or 5 wins as a pro and take them offshore. We don't want to do it too early. We want to make sure that they're prepared, and work ethic's a big one. You can get guys that are naturally gifted, but and they do okay at a national level, but then you put them into something like American Top Team over there, where the work ethic it's a zoo, right? It's an absolute dog pit over there, and they're all scrapping, and if you haven't got a good work ethic, you're not going to survive. So I've had a few boys go under the wheels once I've sent them off. Offshore, just not on skill set so much, but just work ethic, So if we can prepare our guys, and that's what I try and do, prepare them with a really hard work ethic, and good fundamental basic game, and no weak points, in their overall game. We send them offshore, they really excel. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the trip to Japan. And,
Yeah. We got. We shoot off there. We've got a tournament in Wellington on the Saturday. We come home on the Sunday. We're going to shoot off on the Monday, and then they start competing on the Thursday. So they'll compete Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll shoot off from there on the Monday and just go and have a look around for about 3 or 4 days. Come home, and then we're down to down to South Island for South Island Champs weekend after. So it's exciting, It's exciting for the team.
Number-wise, in the gym, I've been going around a few of the gyms lately, and they all seem to be good numbers.
Yeah. Competition is the key to keep people training, There was a few years there before we started in St. Grappler where everybody was just over competition, and everywhere they went they didn't seem to get a fair deal, and so we started the tournament out of a necessity rather than just a desire to run tournaments. I never had a desire to run a tournament, but there was a necessity there for my students, and I knew there was a market there, so we just done an in-house tournament, got a lot of support, and then carried it on, and that's what NZ Grappler is today. It's just the continuation of just an in-house tournament that's been supported by the public, And that's where people get it wrong. They think that, NZ Grappler is some big international fucking, conglomerate with, a team of people looking after the emails. It's just my wife, So everyone gets, this doesn't get answered in time. Mate, we got 5 kids, We do our best. She's basically bracketing for 5 days solid before a tournament, up all night, and mate, people are hard to deal with, That's the problem with the community, is a lot of people are naive, and they put their kid in, and they're naturally apprehensive, and they take it out on the event organisers, making it out like we're trying to give them a bad day. We've done close to 200 tournaments now. We know what works. We've got a matrix that we've never had we've never had anyone seriously injured at any of our tournaments. So, we've got a matrix where, there's, especially kids at age, weight and belt. Mate, unless you've got a clone somewhere, hiding in a closet somewhere, a whole, database of clones, it's really hard to get a perfect match, So sometimes the kids get merged up, or they always get merged up. We don't merge them back down. If you haven't got a match, it's unfortunate for you, but we're never going to destroy the bottom bracket. We're always going to merge them up. So it's going to be a hard day, but it's better to have a hard day than no competition. And let's be honest, a hard day being merged up. When my daughter, she's 26 now, when we used to take her along to tournaments, she was fighting boys, up to 10 kilos heavier, mate, if there was a match. Like, people complain now, and it's almost comical, and athletes too, complaining, it's not good enough, the tournaments don't run smooth enough. Mate, now you've got a profile on your smooth comp, you know exactly what match, what time. And the thing is, sometimes the matches do get brought forward. It's a software that's being used globally now. It's beautiful. But if you get 5 submissions, quick finishes on a mat, it does bring your match forward. But that's why we ask for people in the ball pen an hour before, just because sometimes it can bring you forward half an hour. But the thing is, everyone's saying, not everyone, but a few people just that don't understand say, you had your fight time at 12 o'clock, now it's 11:30. You should have been in the bullpen half an hour before that anyway. But what are we going to do? So we don't bring it forward. So everyone's sitting around twiddling their thumbs until 12 o'clock, But what about the matches, because we work it out on an average fight time, what about the matches that go into overtime? So now you're never going to get brought forward, but now you're going to get pushed back. So, you can't win, mate. But it's people that never run a tournament that have got all the answers, So it is frustrating because we're trying to do the best we can. We're trying to provide a great, a great event for people and an experience, and we cop a lot of flack for it. But I think it's necessary for the country to progress.
Well, anybody that can handle 1,200 people over the weekend and get them matched up, get my vote anyway.
Oh, yeah, mate. I mean, we've got 10 mat areas. We need 30 refs over the weekend. I mean, MMA guys, they do a great job. But you know what? You got 18 fights on one mat area with four referees at the most. You know what I mean? It's quite a monster to organise the back end on these things, and it is. It's up. A lot of it comes back to support, and we can't run these events without the support of the referees. These guys, it's the backbone of the sport. Our referees are the backbone of our sport. We've got not many that actually want to back themselves and jump on the mats, because never very rarely people come up and say great job. Everyone's an expert up in the stands. Everybody's an expert referee, but they don't want to jump on the mats and help out, And 99% of the time, the shit that they're screaming out with a passion is actually wrong, So it is frustrating, but that's what we do, mate.
Well, I think the community's lucky to have you, and I'm pretty sure there's more thankful ones than...
Yeah. But, it's our passion is to get or priority is to get a black belt world champion coming out of New Zealand, an adult world champion black belt. It'll change things for New Zealand, If we can get the level up to that sort of level in competition.
Do you think we're far away from that?
I think we are. Yeah, I think the problem with New Zealand is this is a basic idea of numbers for an NZ grappler. We might get on an average of 100, we'd probably get 40 white belts, 40 purples, maybe 35 purples. 40 white, 40 blue. Maybe 10 purples, maybe 5 browns and 5 blacks, if you're lucky. If you're very lucky, probably less percentage than that than on the black, browns and blacks. It's it's like probably 40% white belts, 40% blue belts.
Why do you think that is?
I think in all honesty, I think a lot of our black belts in the country are, never competed. This is the honest truth. I don't know if a lot of these guys have ever competed, which is, it's unbelievable. But it seems to be the thing is that you can get a black belt after 6 years of twice a week. You know what I mean? Training twice a week. It's a very low level, man. Very low level. And. It's a global thing, mate. It took me 18 years of competing in every tournament and training 3 times a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And obviously I've had to, restructure my whole program here. I can't expect people to do that.
Yeah.
People just won't do that. I mean, the whole program has been pulled back and it's been made, a lot more PC to just try and, you're running a business at the same time. It's a balancing act. You've got to, but it's not all about performance. People can contribute. They can be very dedicated, and they might be older. They can't compete so much, but they at every training they're very technical. So they could get it potentially over time, get a black belt. And it's not all about just competing. But I think competitions. If you're a young man or young woman, I think there's no reason, and you haven't got a serious injury, there's no reason you shouldn't be competing. I mean, this art is supposed to be based on reality. I mean, why aren't they testing it in a real scenario, or as real as you can get? I mean, it's still a long way off being real, but at least it's a combative type of environment,
it's a shame because at its best, it's so
Oh,
beautiful to
oh, it
watch.
is. And I mean, with making the sport a little bit more easy, it brings more numbers in. So hopefully, over the long term, I mean, I'm excited to see. I'm hopeful. You got that 40% of whites and 40% blues. I mean, if we can, and these young ones coming through are showing a lot of promise. So if we can keep these guys competing, we'll be okay. In probably 5 or 6 years, if we can keep them, if we can retain them. But it's retaining these kids. They do get a little bit bored and that. Through the younger teenage years and stuff. But no, if we can do that, if we can retain the numbers we have in the lower bouts, it's going to be very exciting for the higher bouts moving forward. But it's hard. It's hard to get high level bouts competing in New Zealand. It's quite frustrating actually. Yeah.
Oh well, we just look forward to the generations coming on.
Yeah, 100%, mate. No, just our federation throws 13 events a year. 13 tournaments. I mean, just 13, one a month, more than one a month. I mean, that's plenty. You reckon up the wins if you're jumping in all those. Whether back in the past you'd get 1 or 2 tournaments a year if you're lucky. So the platform's there for everyone to test themselves and to evolve and to bring it to a world level if they can, just can stay on the path and stay engaged.
Oh well, let's hope they do.
Thanks for your time, bro. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you again. I just talking about that. I just remember.